Let's try it again. So I'm going to be talking about how can I make 5 figures in a month, and where could I be going wrong, and why am I not making 5 figures? So I think there's this misconception out there that you should be making 5 figures right away, that you should, if you're not making 5 figures every month, that you're doing something wrong, and that you're going too slowly, and you're not doing things quick enough. And really the reality of it is that it actually takes time to build a business. And you don't see what's happening behind the scenes. Hey Mindy, thanks for joining. You don't see what's happening behind the scenes of someone else's business. So it took me time to lay the foundational work to make 5 figures or 30K or 20K in a week. It didn't happen overnight, and I absolutely hate when, and it's clickbait, but when we're all talking about, in the coaching industry especially, about how to make 5K in 5 minutes or like 10K in 10 days. And what we're not talking about, the reason that people are writing that is because they want you to open their email. They want you to download their lead magnet. But the thing is that in reality, it takes time to create the foundational pieces that are going to get you the 5K in 5 days or 10K in 10 minutes or whatever. So remembering that there are foundational pieces and you're building a business, that's why it's called building. Think of it as building a house. You have to build the foundation first, and it might seem like nothing is happening, you're not getting anywhere, but really you've built so much, you've put in so much, you've worked so hard to create the foundation, and then once you start working on the actual house above the foundation, it goes really quickly. So if you're thinking to yourself, things should be happening quicker, I should be making more money by this point, I'm working so hard and I'm not seeing any return on investment, remember that it is building, it's coming, it's on its way to you right now, and everything is happening in the exact right moment. So don't be putting so much pressure. Be compassionate with yourself that you are putting in the time, effort that is required to have the business that you desire to have. So keep your eye on the prize and stay persistent, because the reason that most people don't make it, don't see the kinds of success and the kinds of results that they want, the reason they're not consistently making that amount of money is because they're not persistent. They're not consistently persistent. So it doesn't take just one time, one day, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year to get whatever it is that your goal is. It requires you to show up consistently, to put in the effort consistently, and to be persistent with people over the journey. Because also, when I say laying the foundation, you might be talking to people now who are saying no to you on the phone, who are going to join your program or going to work with you in the future. So just because somebody says no now doesn't mean that they're going to say no to you in the future. In addition, just because somebody says I can't afford it doesn't mean that that's the time to get off the phone with them. That doesn't mean that I can't afford it, doesn't mean that I'll never be able to afford it. And maybe it actually means I'm still too scared. I still don't see the value. I don't believe that I'm going to get those results. So I'm going to say I can't afford it because that's an easy out. But remembering that that includes being persistent with people who say I can't afford it because they got on the phone with you for a reason. They didn't think that they were going to get it for free. So they knew that they were going to have to pay something. So what is it that's really holding them back, and is it really money that's holding them back? So persistence is key on every stage of the journey for you to stick with it, for you to show up consistently, for you to be persistent in sharing about your offers, for you to be persistent with the people that are interested, and to be persistent on your calls. So those are some aspects of making 5 figures in a month, is having all of that sort of persistence And then also on the other end of that spectrum, being persistent, but also knowing when to take rest. Because if you feel like quitting, it's time to take some rest, okay? Because you don't want to get to the point of I'm going to quit. Rather than quitting, take rest. So when you feel like quitting, take rest, come back at it with a fresh mind and a fresh perspective, new ideas, creativity, and a fresh drive, desire, and motivation to be persistent and consistent again. Okay? Because so often I see people, in fact, I spoke to somebody today who was like ready to throw in the towel, or it's not working for me. Things are not working, so they're never going to work. When most of the time it's the universe is throwing us a curveball to see if we are still serious about it. Are we still serious? Are you still prepared to do what it takes? Are you still on this journey? Are you still committed? Sometimes, it likes to throw us some of those curveballs, okay? So when you feel like quitting, take rest. The next one that I wanted to share is, are you showing up as a six-figure business owner? Because so often we are showing up as the business owner that we feel we are in that moment, rather than the business owner that we want to be, or that we desire to be, or we know we are, or that we really have the experience, but we maybe don't have the confidence. So you need to show up as the business owner that you desire to be, so that you are attracting those types of clients, that amount of abundance. And so how do I check in with, well, what am I supposed to do? What does that even mean, Tanya? I have no idea what you're talking about when you say that. I would ask you the question of, what would you be doing differently if you were making six figures in your business? So, and I ask myself that during the day too. Like, how would a six-figure business owner react in this situation? How would I show up? How would I act? What would I be investing in? What would I not be investing in? What would I be doing with my day? How would I schedule my day? What would my calls be like? What would my program look like? What would my membership site look like? What would my sales funnel be like? How much would I be spending on Facebook ads? How would I be showing up on live? Really, so all of these things you can ask yourself, what would a six-figure business owner be doing, or how would I be doing this differently if I was a six-figure, or for some of us who are already six-figure, how would you be doing it differently if you were a seven-figure business owner? Because that's going to give you a gauge as to where can I be doing something differently? Where am I not showing up the way that I really want to be seen in the industry, or I want to be perceived by my clients? But also, like, sharing your vulnerable struggles. This morning I was sharing about how, like, my life is not perfect, and though I get on here and talk about being a six-figure business owner and showing up and being persistent, like, I have my bad days too. And I cry, and I get disappointed, and I get overwhelmed and stressed and feel like a beginner. And one of the things I've learned along this journey is that when those things happen, it's actually more powerful for you to share that vulnerable story, and share that you're real, and share that you are like them, and share that you get where they're coming from, so that they don't feel so alone. Because we feel alone enough on this journey, and the last thing that we need to do is feel alone when we're struggling, and when we're being persistent, and when we're exhausted. Sometimes you need support. So looking out, again, this is a question of, what would a six-figure business owner be doing? But looking out for, where do you get support? Like, I have a business coach myself, and I think it's important for all coaches to have a business coach, or a coach of sorts, because if you do not believe in investing in your industry, then why should anyone else? Also, if you don't believe in investing in your business, then why would anybody else? So I have a community, I have my group, I have my own coach to lean on for support in those times, because none of us are made of steel, and none of us are happy all the time or feel great about ourselves all the time, and things come into our life to knock us off of our path, and we all need a helping hand in those moments for us to not give up, to be reminded to take rest rather than quit. to be reminded that we do have control and we can do things differently, and we can call in the types of abundance or wealth or clients that we want. So when you are asking yourself today, what could I be doing differently to get to make 5-figure months? Or what would a person who was making 5-figure months be doing differently? What would a 6-figure business owner do differently in this situation? I guarantee you that one of those things is going to be that you have a community, a group, or a coach, or all of them. Because we can't do it on our own. Nobody gets to the top on their own. Nobody, I guarantee you. So make sure that you reach out and ask for support, ask for help when you need it. Share vulnerably, rest, don't quit. Show up as a 6-figure or 7-figure business owner and stay persistent. Happy Tuesday.